Hello, everybody. Welcome to Flash Fiction Live. We finally got the name down. We're still working on the layout, but I'm okay with it and everything. And actually, I kind of like this thumbnail with the gradient. And then when I saw you do your black and white photo, I was like, you know what? We're going to change mine too.
I had to use that. I did
So
my
go with the whole
birthday
aesthetic.
shoot, and I was like,
dude, your birthday shoot was on point. Those boots, like, I think the boots is what stole the show too. Like, it was like, yes, you with the boots. The boots by themselves, no. You with the boots, yes.
I had it was so fun. It was a lot of fun.
Like, I've been wanting to get like a friend who's a professional photographer, and which I will pay them. I will. But I've been wanting to do that and like have a whole just boost my confidence session is the way I would call it.
Mm-hmm.
But I need somebody good with makeup too, because I'm not like right now. I got mascara, eyebrow tint thing, whatever, brush, and lip stain. That's it.
I had my friend. I used to work with him, and he's a stylist. And I was like, "Send help." and he did everything else, like the location, the photographer, the makeup artist. He did the clothes.
Bless him.
He did everything else, and I was like, "You were."
So, what did y'all do for the clothes? Did you go on like a shopping spree, or did you?
He pre-shopped and then found a couple locations, and he was like, "I think that you would like stuff from here." And so we did all of the shopping, and I got some bonus outfits like just for me in 2.5 hours.
Nice.
And I hate shopping, so it was.
Yeah, I do too.
It was painless. It was just like everything was done.
We got Cherry Panda in the chat.
Hey,
a few other people I'm sure will trickle in. I know this is not our normal 8 a.m. or not 8 a.m. 9 a.m. thing, but we had plans.
Yeah.
But it's okay. The plans were totally worth it. Anybody who's coming in, I will just go ahead and do a quick intro. But for anybody coming in last minute at least, there will be 2 writing prompts. One from the book called Write the Story, and the other will be made up with help from the chat. Where we'll cover that, but we're going to do Write the Story first, and then we'll call the chat in to come up helping us pick 10 words to include in the story. And then I've been having fun, and I'm starting to find my niche. I think I really like flash fiction. I really do. Like, I'm getting ideas because I got an entire spreadsheet, because I love Excel, of also, here's the thing, I got multiple tabs. So I got a tab of like create your own prompt, where you take an adjective, a noun, and a verb, and then you try to create a sentence out of it. And I just got to plug in the information and then do like a random, like shuffle it randomly and then go down a line. I think that would be fun. But then also I got another tab that is just full of it's over 850 words right now.
Ooh.
And which is where we pull our 10 words from. And then I got another tab that is like writing prompts that I just made up, such as what we used last week, the following the wrong star. That was just something that came to mind, and I decided to put it down. And then the last one, since you and I have been doing this, Chandra, is writing challenges to do during the prompts.
Ooh, I like that.
And I'm having fun putting stuff in there.
I like it because it definitely mixes up things that I would not usually do, like having to not write death and murder and mayhem. That was hard. But I love
no one dies.
Yeah. But I love the story that I got out of that. So I think the challenges are really helpful as well.
And dude, I just recorded yesterday. I still got to edit the video, but I think what I'm going to do is, if you want to tag team this one, and then we link each other's video when this airs. But I'll private message you or Instagram you the prompt that I just did yesterday.
Okay.
I think it's right up your alley too. I would love to see how you would create it, but we're working on today's prompt first. With that, I guess let's just go ahead and throw in the chat and what the prompt is. Oh, and actually, I got to find a timer. So if you don't mind, while I read this, you type it up. And then that way, while we're chatting about it real quick, I can go find a timer. But this prompt is number 14 out of the book. The prompt is a couple on a cruise. And then the 10 words to include are nosy, sponsor, passenger, willing, smile, brew, like BREW, yellow, neighbor, 100, and stairwell.
What's the last one?
Stairwell. Oh, we inspired Cherry.
Yay!
Sweet. I love it. Like, flash fiction is the time to explore and everything. I even, I'll tease it a little bit. So the one that I'm going to share with you, Chandra, which I will just send to you privately, and you can start it whenever if you want to do this. But it's a region of America that I had to research because I'm not familiar with it, to get the dialect and stuff, and because I wanted to pull a little bit of the language in there. And since I read my stories out loud, I wanted to pronounce it correctly too. But I will say that I think that story inspired me to research more a little bit, because it took me longer because I had to research.
Mm-hmm.
And the rules we've been having with this was like 30 minutes to outline, draft, edit, whatever you want to do, and the 30 minutes to have a finished thing to submit. And I feel like it inspired me, is the way the story was. And it was really funny to try to get that dialect when I was reading it too, because I had I had the story I was reading, and then I had a notebook with the words with the phonetic spelling of the words too, to make sure I pronounce it.
That's
and then I
have an entire idea,
yeah, I have an entire gag reel of just me going like it was funny.
Oh, that's great.
Devin arrived as well.
Hello, delightful Devin.
Oh, with that, something that just reminded me. Chat, if you wish, you can, and I don't think I put in the description. Oh my god, I was so horrible prepping for this. I did the thumbnail, but I didn't do much. Also, I'm going to be throwing in the description links and such, so that chat, if you are going to join us on this writing prompt, which by the way, Chandra, do you mind posting that in the chat?
Yes.
Okay.
I have it down. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Please, I'm the one that's really behind on the hosting shindig here. Like right now, I'm jumping back to our previous Flash Fiction Live, and I'm just copy and pasting.
I mean, templates are where it's at.
Yeah. I need to probably save a template. I do have an entire folder just for writing prompts right now. And what I might do is I'll jump over here. Where is it? Yeah, sure. We'll work with this. Where's my? I'm so glad my computer's on mute right now.
Pin it in the chat.
Well, last time you were running it.
Oh.
That's why. Because we all right, so copy. Okay. Now I gotta jump over to, do I jump over to StreamYard, or can I edit the description while I'm in? Yeah.
Ooh, Cherry sent me the story that they wrote.
Story?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, after we do create this story, we can look into Cherry's. But that brings us to that chat. If you got a flash fiction, so under 1,000 words, we will. What did we say? Two chat flash fictions. If you want to send it, we'll try to make it a little fair. So if you were done recently, and we have like 3 people coming in, the most recent person would fall off on being coming in. But back to this. The if you want to send it in via Instagram to us, we will gladly read your flash fiction on screen.
And Carrie, I've got yours right here.
All right. Ooh, I can edit. I'm learning so much. Okay, so I put a little bit of the description. I just didn't do my normal full thing. All right. And do you want to go ahead and read it while I do some of this like admin stuff to get things prepared, and then probably we'll talk about it, and then we'll jump into the first 30-minute sprint. Which, by the way, you can join us on the sprinting of doing this prompt, or you can do your own productivity.
Absolutely. Alrighty, let me. Sorry about the general like
flow.
Yes, I forgot.
I haven't noticed it, but I assume that's the word you were going for because you went. But no, it's that time of season.
I forgot to take my allergy medicine yesterday, and I was like, "Why does my face feel weird?"
I'm just imagining a parody or something of "Take the Weekend." I can't feel my face, but it's I can't feel my face when I'm with you, and it's like you singing to Dobby because you're allergic to cats.
That is so accurate. Oh my gosh, pretty much.
Okay.
It. All right. This story is from Cherry Panda in the comments. Did I tell you? Had to climb up the tree to get the last one. Bark digging into my pants despite the long wait it had held on, refusing to drop. Annoyed by the effort, I reached the top and used all the force I could while still holding on with my other arm and legs. Smack. A moment later came a loud thud on the dirt floor below. The garage is usually where I do this kind of thing. The slashing won't make dents in the concrete, and it's easy to clean later. In search of the machete, I opened the closed drawers and moved boxes on the shelf. Finally finding it, I grabbed the handle, feeling the heft of the blade. Turning around, I realized that it wasn't where I left it. Sometimes they can get away from you, but that's nothing to worry about. They can't get that far. Just bring them back to the garage. The top has to come off first. It takes 3 slashes to get it opened. Then I use my hand to get the last satisfying crack, making sure to keep it upright. I don't want too much to spill. Is this getting coconuts out of a tree? Hey, Haley. I think it's getting coconuts out of a tree. And then, like, cutting them open in the garage. And sometimes they roll away and you got to go get them back. You're on mute.
Good thing I was on mute when I said if anybody can read lips, I apologize for my language. But, hey, Cherry said you got it.
I love it.
I love it when it's creative. Okay, I'm not sure. I remember telling you this, Chandra, about, I think, but I said it off camera, but the story of my mother and her friend who they wrote their stories, and there was that story. Okay, but wasn't that before live? I didn't say that story live, right?
It was on live.
Oh, it was live? Okay, well then never mind. I won't redo the story. It works.
Oh, thank you. Get down.
Which wall is a super nice color, Haley? Which one? Wait, that way. This one or this one? Because I was thinking about that when I was, yes, we had a puppy moment. I love puppy moments. I was thinking about that when I was going through like branding and stuff like that, especially because this is Flesh Fish and Live is more of a collaboration between you and I. We've kind of combined our colors. Surprisingly enough, I did not choose red as a brand, but I'm starting to think it is becoming one, which is funny because for your picture for a while there, you had that red background, which was gorgeous and it starked perfectly, but contrasted perfectly. Start whatever, we'll go with it.
Contrasted.
But I was thinking about how your brand, you got that beautiful green color, kind of matches your chair and your wall.
I know it,
but I love it. It's like a whole aesthetic.
I do like it. So I'm gonna keep using the red for a lot of stuff just because it does stand out a lot. And I haven't seen a lot of people who have that like same color for their background, so it does stand out, especially like in chat or if people have dark mode on, it stands out really well. But sometimes I like to mix it up just for fun. But I forgot what I was gonna say. I had somewhere I was going with that. But Cherry did send me a little bit more, 2 more paragraphs, because the rest of it hadn't come through. Sloshing the liquid around, I finally get my first taste. Fresh liquid fills my mouth. This is what all the effort was for. I grab my spoon and dig in. The moist meat would be stiff and dry in an hour, so I wouldn't waste any of it. Take your time and savor that soft white flesh, I tell you. The fresher it is, the better. I don't really like the store-bought stuff. I mean, honestly, what's the point of eating coconut when it doesn't even taste the way it should? Nasty. So the thing I liked about this, though, is even with the tree part, it was a little bit confusing. And I was like, is this a coconut or a person? And that vibe really... I like it, of course, because y'all know I'm morbid.
Oh, yeah. But it's okay. We all have this dark side to us that little dark. But I definitely liked it's kind of it was a fun game to play with the reader. And the reader, I love books that make me go, is this? And then at the end, I'm like, yes, knew it. That's why anytime I critique work and stuff, I'm like, I have a prediction. But it's also because I like when people critique my work to give me their prediction to make sure that if they're following a red herring, if I have one, or if they totally ignored that and they actually got it right, I'm like, ooh, I need to work on this.
So I will say the one thing that made this easier for me is that I grew up around that. And even though we only had, so my great uncle had an estate in Barbados, and he had 3 coconut trees, and his property caretaker would come out and bring them down. And so, between that and going to the beach, you would see people climbing the trees and getting the coconuts down, and then the process of opening them.
Everything I've learned about coconuts from the TV and the internet is that the brown ones don't drink the water inside because it's a diuretic and it'll make you more dehydrated, but the green ones will actually be hydrating and sustain you.
So the thing about the brown ones is they're actually, I wouldn't say they're necessarily overripe, but there's really not that much water left in them. Most of the time, there's not even any water left in them. So the green ones still have like this thick husk over it, and the brown ones, it's all been peeled off. So that's where you get like the coconut shavings that people put in baking and stuff like that. But when it's still green and got all the husk on it, then the inside has this it's like the white part that usually turns hard is like soft and it's like jelly. And so you just eat it. You can eat it with a spoon, or like when they are cutting off the husk to get it open, they'll cut off kind of a little wedge that's like kind of triangle shaped but rounded from the edge, and they'll use just a piece of the husk as a spoon. And you'll just kind of sit outside and just eat your coconut like that.
For some reason in my head, I was like, just eat your curds and whey. Like I was going.
Well, and that's the part where I was like, are they cutting someone's head open? The only thing I would say, and this was a little bit confusing for me, even just reading it out, the dialogue I don't know if it came across that I was reading some dialogue, but even if you don't want to necessarily identify gender through the dialogue, just to say I said or they said, just so it's clear when reading out loud that this part's dialogue versus this part is...
Which is something I've had trouble with. And I think reading my stories out loud has helped me realize when I do need to include that. And
Instagram took away my formatting. No worries.
Sorry for the caps.
I would be shouting at Instagram for stealing my formatting.
We didn't take it as you shouting at Chandra. We took it at you shouting at Instagram.
It's okay. Always the worst when you take all this time to like carefully format something.
I know.
And it's like, this is not what I intended. Oh gosh, okay. I feel that. That's a vibe.
I'm prepping my little notebook where I wrote down the 10 words in the prompt just to make sure it's set so we can get started.
I hope I spelled all the words correctly.
Oh, Shiza, I didn't even check. Hold on. And actually, I do probably need to pin it. What? Okay, I don't know how to pin.
There's little dots in the corner.
Yeah, I pretty much can put you in timeout or block you.
Okay, so it's not just me then, because I swear last time there was an option to pin.
Yeah, unless I wonder if... Okay. Oh, Haley was talking about my wall. I figured. Well, I rent, so I can't take too much credit from my wall. Where? Chandra, where? Oh, there it is. All right, let me check. Oh, okay. So in StreamYard, I'm posting it, but I pin it when I go over to YouTube and everything. This is so confusing how many windows I got to have open. All right. I do have a timer. This timer, I'm going to try to be better about this since I'm kind of bad about posting chapters and stuff. But this is from Time and Timers. I usually do a search and I say 30-minute timer with music because I like background noise personally. And if anybody doesn't, you can just mute me, which you probably already have by this point. All right.
No.
Are you ready for this prompt? I hope I am. We're going to see how this plays out. All right. Ready, set, go. need a better timer than that. Like, and the music was good, but that alarm.
Oh yeah, that was a lot.
You can't have relaxing music then like.
No, it's like immediate fight or flight.
Yeah, I will say my outline changed as I was writing the story, but still the same premise stayed, and I was kind of happy with this story. I really was.
I finished the actual story in 10 minutes and spent the rest of the time expanding and editing.
Yeah,
it really surprised me.
It made me laugh because so I looked. You did 287 words, and I did 316.
That's funny because we don't usually I'm the one who's on the.
Yeah, it's usually you're on the high end for sure. I'm trying to unshare that. There we go. We'll do that. Okay. What was this? Cherry says she was today years old when I realized that Scrivener Nano update thing only updates the words in Scrivener doc and takes away manually added words. Ooh.
Oh no. No. How many words did it take away?
I know. Hayden was able to do 498 words out of ideas. Hey, no, you're fine.
You're doing great.
I will say, like, we've said this before, but I feel like with flash fiction, like, I have this, like, anxiety right before I start it. And I'm like, I don't know if I have any ideas. And then once I start writing, then I'm like, nope, got to finish it. I know what I'm going to do.
I started this one with 0 ideas. And that surprised me as far as how the story came out, because this was not that it wasn't where I thought it was going. I had no thoughts about where it was going. Dobby, you gotta quit it. He's already scratched me and made me bleed today, and I'm like, I just need some personal space now, bud.
So growing up, we had cats growing up. And my dad would call any cat scratches, and I apologize for the language for anybody, but my dad would call the cat scratches cat shit injections. He's not wrong, considering I had to clean the litter box. I can attest to that.
Yeah, and I'm just like, dude, I just need you to give me a minute because that hurt, and I don't really want to talk to you right now. And he's like, love me.
Just because I realized, if anything, I would say the internet has taught me that not everyone knows the references I make. But if anybody wants a Shirley Temple, grenadine, Sprite, and maraschino cherries.
Yes. Okay, so if
you could add vodka if you want, but I don't drink.
So there's another kind of cherries that are like candied cherries, but they are alcoholic. But if you go to a bar that has that kind of cherries and you ask for a dirty Shirley, let me decide. That is how I like to wrap up my evening. If I've been like out and I'm like, I want one more drink, but not like a drink. It's like a kind of a drink.
For me, if I can taste or smell the alcohol, I don't want the drink.
Yeah.
At all.
So with a dirty Shirley, you can't. And it is so tasty. But also, I usually get a Shirley Temple if I'm out and I don't want people to know that I'm not drinking anymore, because it looks like a vodka crayon.
I will say there is a lot of times where that is necessary, where it's like you don't want to appear that you don't have a drink, but at the same time you don't want. I don't know, like I feel like by having a drink, it wards off other people trying to buy me one.
Yes, exactly. Well, there's that, and it's like, oh, if you have a drink the whole time, I feel like, especially if you go to like female bartenders and you're like, can I get a Shirley Temple? They're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm with you. I understand what's happening here.
Yeah. Oh, I will say I don't like the cherries on cakes, or like maraschino cherries. I like them in my drink, and I'll have them in my drink, and I'll even eat them when I'm done with my drink. But otherwise, nah, not happening.
Mm-mm.
So that works. All right, I do have a timer. Did you get my email?
Yes, I'm ready to go.
And I got your email. So we will set a timer for 10 minutes, but fair warning to the chat. Chandra and I are usually done faster than 10 minutes because we just use this to critique each other's work. So we might read each other's work like 3 times, and then we still got 7 minutes left by that point or something. And then we cut the sprint short. Just because we usually get really excited. We're each other's biggest fans. So we were like, I gotta read this now. So, all right. Well, go ahead and start this. This is from Pomodoro Music Timer. I'm going with the autumn feel right now.
Hi, Charlie.
Yeah. It's the time of the season.
Charlie! Happy belated!
Yes, happy belated birthday. Absolutely. I felt so bad that I missed it, but then you missed it too, Chandra. So
I did.
At least I won't be in the doghouse alone. You'll be there with me. We'll make it up for you.
It's cold outside.
Snuggle for warmth. Dobby always lays in our in your lap and everything. Maybe Dobby will provide warmth.
Probably if he knows what I've done, he'll be like, nah.
Nah, you don't deserve me in your lap.
Warmth for you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Charlie, for that, because I will say, though I missed my sister's birthday on October 27th, and I admit I remembered I missed it, but I was in the middle of something and I couldn't message her. And now it's November 13th and I still haven't messaged her. I'm a horrible sister. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I understand when people forget stuff. So my favorite birthday was when people did forget. And nobody knew.
My parents forgot my 16th birthday. And then...
Oh my God. Did Jake Ryan stand by his car and go, you on the day of your birthday or the day after your birthday?
Well, a couple years later, my mom showed up to my job on my brother's birthday with cake and balloons for me. And everyone was like, oh, today's your birthday? And I was like, no. They're like, why is your mom here with cake and balloons? I'm like, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
It was, like, she came into my job with cake and balloons.
That's actually it's showing an effort. Like you went through so the times that I mix my kids' birthdays up is when I'm taking them to the doctor or whatever. And they're like, and the birthday of the patient. And I spat out the other one's birthday. I'm like, oh crap, no, switch. And this is why it's an issue having 2 kids. And then they always want my birthday too, because I'm in charge of the whole health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I will sometimes give my birthday when I'm supposed to be giving the kids' birthday, and it's a mess. It's all these numbers up here.
Yeah. Well, part of it, like my brother, so I'm October 18, my brother's November 19. So I get that part, but it was definitely mortifying for all of my coworkers to be like, oh, happy birthday. And I'm just like, yeah, it's not my birthday. They're like, why'd you? I'm like, please stop.
I'm just saying, I would hope if that ever happened to me, I would stop myself somewhere through the process before I arrived at my daughter's work or something when it's her brother's birthday. Yeah.
But my family is terrible about that. I know. So my parents don't buy anything on Saturdays because, they are very strict, religiously speaking.
Oh, wow.
And my dad had forgotten my mother's birthday, which was on a Saturday.
Oh.
And so he couldn't go to the store to buy anything. And my mom didn't say anything, but you could tell she was so mad. She's walking around the house just slamming cupboard door, And she had to work that night, So because she's in healthcare, like even though they can't buy anything, she can go to work because it's in healthcare. It's complicated. Anyway, wow. I went to the store and I like got a cake and it had her like she likes hydrangeas, so it had hydrangeas on it.
My mother loves hydrangeas too.
I had them like fill it out with all of her stuff. And then I got a card from my dad to sign, and he was like, "Oh, thank you. Like, yeah.
Rely on the people who don't see Saturday as the Sabbath.
Yeah, he was like really like so relieved.
So is that a loophole? Not picking apart the religion, but is that a loophole that if someone doesn't fully believe in it?
I guess. But
I think he made it a loophole that day, and you know what? I don't blame him at all.
Like you could tell that like right at the moment where like we showed up with the cake and everything, she was just like her mood just completely changed. I was like, I just looked at my dad. I was like, "You're welcome.
You owe me. I better have a large paragraph in your will.
You owe me big time."
All right, you ready for this critique?
Ready.
All right, we're gonna set 10 minutes. We may be less than 10 minutes. Crazy music. You know what? This music works. A little like lo-fi. Oh my god. There we go. I had to go find the stream. All right. So we're ready. I saw your nod to the camera. So I was like, all right, got her. Are we getting puppy time again?
Yeah. She wants to go OUT. We just went before this started. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. And she wants to go again.
Mm-hmm. Mostly she's spoiled because I work from home, so.
I know. Like, so I'm going to have to send my dogs to a pet sitter. And the pet sitter was like, hey, I don't work from home anymore. It's 9 to 5. Is that a problem? I was like, they'll get used to it. But I work from home right now, so. Yeah.
She's laying on the floor, so the sun's shining through the window, and she's laying on the floor because the sun's like right here, but she's also doing it like she's so miserable. She like just like flops over and she's like, oh.
I'm pretty sure my DOGs can spell as well, by the way. I will say. All right. So do you want to fulfill her wishes, or do you, because you know me, I can chat forever.
Fine.
Okay. All right. You want to go first?
Sure. Sherry sipped her coffee and looked out the balcony windows on the storm brewing on the ocean's horizon. She was supposed to go out and do things, enjoy herself, break out of her shell, but here she sat, almost boycotting everything this trip was meant to do for her. A card slid under her cabin door, startling her from sulking. It was an invitation to the captain's yellowtail party, where wearing the color was highly encouraged. Well, she did have a bright yellow tunic that could sponsor her into the party. If she had known ahead of time, she would have packed her matching heels. How many would have to rely on their smiles to get them through the door? An hour later, Sherry exited her cabin at the same time her neighbor did. The ladies smiled at each other, recognizing their color bond. Your top and my shoes? We'd look like a banana lemon squash or what have you, the neighbor said. Sherry laughed. I wonder how many passengers will fit that description. The women laughed as both of them took the stairwell down to the ballroom. Entering the ballroom, they discovered there were over 100 passengers in yellow from head to toe. Oh my, there's even a man in a yellow hat, Sherry said. Do you think George is nearby? Sherry's neighbor replied. Sherry laughed and offered her hand. I'm Sherry, by the way. The neighbor grabbed Sherry's hand. I'm Michelle. Silence fell between the women. Sherry was unsure where to take the conversation. She took a breath and said, this may be random, but if you're willing, do you want to be nosy and people watch while we devour the free drinks? Michelle's smile grew. Did we just become best friends? Yep, Sherry replied as she looped her arm around Michelle's and steered her to the bar. I think it's such a fun story. And the not wanting to go to the party by yourself, but also like meeting someone that you just get to be salty with is absolutely the biggest mood. So I don't know. I feel like those kinds of friendships, like even if you don't see that person all the time, it's just like it's a lasting friendship, just born out of shared misery.
Cherry. You know, I almost put a C in front, and I was gonna call them Sherry, but it was gonna be a CH thing instead of spelled Sherry the way I spelled it, SHERRY. But I was like, no, Cherry's in the chat. I don't want them to feel attacked or anything. But I also ended up using Sherry because it's kind of stuck in my head because I just finished the 3rd season of You.
Oh, so I haven't watched it yet.
Did you do that? It's there. I kept on going back and forth with it, honestly. Oh my goodness. I'm missing one of my earpieces, which is scary. I'm gonna have to grab my wire ones because I don't know where my other one is. I'm gonna say the culprit is my son. Probably. But all right, I'm gonna mute myself, but I can still hear you as you critique myself. I do like that Eva was saying definitely got the Curious George book.
I've never read the book, but that did pop out to me.
Yeah. Yes, there is a new season, season 3. I want to say it came out a month ago or maybe 2 weeks ago or something like that. I don't know. It took me some time to finally get into it.
Oh, so this is a sidebar, but it kind of reminded me of You, but it's also if Christian Grey was the way he really was in 50 Shades, Jamie Dornan is in another piece where he is a serial killer.
Ooh.
But with the same kind of ideas in a vague sort of way. And let me just tell you, I have to look up the name of it. It was so good. It's just a mini series. It was so.
I like mini series because I want the in-depthness of a show, but I also want it to be wrapped up like a movie.
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I'll have to look up the name on one of our sprints to share because it is on point. But it kind of made me think of what I have seen of You, but then also 50 Shades of Grey, but like smushed together. So, okay, on to the
critique while I grab my other headphones.
I was a little confused about the direction of the story when it started off, but then, like, as it took a turn around when we start talking about the Yellowtail party, which I thought was a fun idea, and it being a little bit different just because it is themed around the color yellow. My least favorite line was, well, she did have a bright yellow tunic that could sponsor her into the party. That kind of pulled me out a little bit because it was there's nothing wrong with the sentence in and of itself. I just would not have thought to use sponsor in that way. But it also makes sense to me because it would be like if you have to have an invitation to the party. So the wearing yellow, it like supplants your invitation to the party. But it just kind of pulled me out of the story a little bit because I had to think through it, which is, that's just like that's a me thing, not necessarily.
Yeah. Which is funny because I actually, thinking of it, I was like, hey, I like the way I did sponsor here. And I would, if I was going to bold it, critique my own story, I was going to bold that part. But I do like to hear your point of like how it pulled you out because it's good to use words in a unique way, but when you're too unique, it kind of, it's abrupt for the reader.
Yeah. I think though, if you had mentioned it earlier, or everyone was required to have using another word for sponsor, everyone was required to have blah blah blah, like an invitation
to get in,
something to get in, some kind of token, and then mention later on that her tunic is her sponsor. In that way, it kind of introduces the concept versus just throwing you into the concept. I don't know if that would I don't know if that makes sense, but that was just kind of how I took it. And yeah, I do agree with what Cherry said about Sherry being said a lot of times, but it's also difficult. It's really, really tricky. And I found this especially since I write some erotica and you have two men in a scene or two women in a scene, and trying to like keep that figured out while writing. It's really complicated when you're writing scenes where there's two people of the same gender, because then you can't just say she and her where you would usually say she and her or he and him or they them, because
ways I've heard to go around that is if there's a color or a feature. So like if someone was trying to do you and I, they would say the blonde for me, just because it would be easy. And then they would call you red or whatever for the red tips in your hair if they wanted to stay with red, or the one with glasses, the one without, or you kind of pick other things.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that would be good, but also with it being so short, I understand why you did it this way. The only I'm looking at it and I'm trying to figure out where you would insert some kind of descriptor of Sherry without it being like, she looked in the mirror and she had brown eyes. Especially since she starts out alone, and then you can't call out a color that they're wearing because everyone's wearing yellow. So that does make it tricky. But I do agree that Sherry is said a lot, but I also I can't advise you on how you would have gotten around that.
But there are ways. I could I think it's starting the sentence with Sherry, if Sherry did, Sherry does, and stuff. And so if I played with the sentences better, such as one way that changing POV is another way to do it. But one way was when the card was slid under the door, I thought to myself, I started it with Sherry looked as the card slid, and I'm like, nope. And I just said a card was slid under the door. And so that's one way I was able to cut it out. And I'm sure there are other ways that I could have.
I mean,
but that's where editing Natalie's going to come in and save the day.
Well, I also think that it's interesting, too, because the introduction is near the end of the story. So we don't even know that she's talking to Michelle till near the end. And that's another reason why it'd be tricky.
Yeah. Yeah, that. And then, and with Sherry, like with Michelle, it was easy because I would say her neighbor, the other woman, I could say something because it was kind of third person acute is what I would call it, since we were in Sherry's head. But yeah. And I'm talking more. This is supposed to be your critique, and I'm just plugging it. I'm talking. No, the author's not supposed to talk during the critique.
I think it's interesting, though, because you can kind of, even just with a few minutes to step away from the story, you can already see different things that you could do differently. And so I think that's an important thing. My favorite line where I laughed out loud, I don't know if you were watching me, but I was like cracking up. How many would have to rely on their smile to get them through the door? I busted out laughing because you could already tell the kind of shade that she's ready to bring. And I was like, I'm dead. That's so funny. That was,
you know the TikTok trend? This is what Sherry would be the one going, I understood the assignment. Yes. That would be Sherry at this moment all the way.
Well, and then to wrap it up where they're like, at the end, do you want to be nosy and people watch while we devour free drinks? And like, you can see the mood, but also it explains why she didn't want to go to begin with, because she's already like not one of these people. Even though she's there and it's a large group of people, she's not part of the crowd. And so part of the, like, whatever opportunities this is going to bring to her, she doesn't feel comfortable mingling with this group on her own. So you get to see all of that and then see the thing that brings her into her element and makes her more comfortable is realizing that there is actually at least one other person who has the same feeling about this event. And so yeah, I think it's a fun strangers meeting, but I also like that it's not romance centered, that it's about friendship, because I think there's not a lot of stories that are just friendship.
And actually, it could end up being romance. It could be a friends thing. Because I will say, like, the dating scene, sometimes it's the people that just, like, you have the small talk conversation, and at the end of it, after you, like, bond and stuff, you're like, huh, I see them differently. I wasn't like, ooh, when we first met, but now I'm going, hey, how you doing?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's not written off, and it could be, but it's not the focus of the story. The focus of the story is the developing friendship, which I think
the couple is the friend.
Yeah.
The friends.
Yeah. And so I think it's also a healthier way to represent potential romance of things starting out with a friendship.
Even though it's salty, but we're here
for
it.
Yeah. I mean, you can't help who you bond with, especially when you're in a situation like that. And it sounds
where you're completely uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like it. I think it's a fun story, and I'm still just giggling about the whole how many people are gonna have to rely on their smiles. And like it took me a second too, and I was like, oh snap. Not. Ooh,
nice. All right. I did note some of the changes you made because I read along and I made those changes already in mine. So thank you for the grammar fixes. All right. You ready for yours?
Ready.
All right. Hopefully I do the ominous justice. All right. 5:14. I stumbled down the stairwell. 5 something? A time, a place I can't remember. I can see them across the parking structure, smoke scrolling up from their tires, the couple from the cruise, or so they had appeared to be. Their willing smile and nosy manners had always been a little too familiar. Now they drive towards me as I cross the space between the landing and the open lot where I left my car. He is the passenger. She is the driver, steering the car that careens towards me. At first, I thought I needed to consider getting a sponsor, but now I'm beginning to think there was a little something extra in the brew. I'd never been this out after one beer. The yellow lines that, oh shoot, I don't even know how to say that word. What
Demarcate.
Is it? Demarcate. See, I'm learning. Thank you. Back to the story, get in the zone. The yellow lines that demarcate the crosswalk from the rest of the cement blur before my unsteady eyes. I step, and my feet come down outside the bounds of where they should be. Am I stepping into the path of the car? Or is the car turning into the space where I should be stepping? It's hard to see. The car slows before it crashes into my shins. I see myself slow motion falling again and again, at least 100 times. I can't tell how long ago that was. I'm fairly certain I'm in a basement. That's all I know. That, and sometimes the couple's neighbor comes by to see how things are going and asking about the howling that comes from below. Is it me? Am I the howling? Did I ever really go on the cruise? Is my car still parked in the parking garage? 5:14. 5 something. I've been so close to freedom. I had been so close to freedom. Ma'am. You sent me on a whirlwind here. I like the echoes of the first line and the last line. I love it when a story does that. And it's so interesting because actually in both situations, I'd make an argument that this person was never free in this short blurb, because it's the inline is I had been so close to freedom, but I don't think they were free before because they were under the influence. They didn't have control over their body. So it's like they were not free mentally in the starting end, and now they're not free physically either. And I would still say continue mentally, because they don't even know if they're the ones howling. Like their sense of reality is just completely altered and changed. the thing I will say where I started getting confused in the first line or the first paragraph was talking about you could see them across the parking structure. And I think it's because I didn't picture the main character in a parking structure. I pictured them like on the boat or maybe on a separate one and like looking across the way and seeing the smoke scrolling up. I didn't picture them all in the same place. But as I read on, I corrected that and it didn't hiccup me enough to stop reading or pause or pull me back. It was just, my thought was going that way. And then I'm like, oh no, it's this. Mm-hmm. And so I self-corrected. The part that I changed, and I know why you did this because you like to take the writing prompt and have it word for word in there. But I'm sure you saw that I changed it to the couple from the cruise, because a couple from the cruise or a couple on a cruise, or so I thought, or so they appear to be, saying the couple, it's like I remember them. Mm-hmm. It's showing that recognition. A couple just makes it seem like they were lost. Mm-hmm. And these people are going to be, I think, pretty memorable to the MC. Even if a lot of things are blurred, they at least know the people, because those people's actions of the nosy manners and willing smile was too familiar. Mm-hmm. They remembered that about them. I do like the disconnect of where it's like, okay, am I going towards them or are they coming towards me? And as the reader, we're like, both. It's both, buddy. ¿Por qué no los dos? So it's like, but the person, you're still, anyone, even if you haven't been drunk in your life, people have been sick and confused. And this kind of can hit that mark. So I kind of like how you are, that confusion, that uncertainty, you convey that. And I really, the part that made me go, whoo, was the part where I've never been this out after one beer. And I'm like, oh yeah, you've been roofied, like straight up. I'm sorry, to purge whatever you need to do to get that out of your system. Mm-hmm. And I do like what Cherry said in the comments of they were confused, but like, that's kind of the point. Like, and what I like, and I know you do this and you and I both do it sometimes, is when you're left with questions at the end of the story. So, and I think one of the best questions ever when it comes to flash fiction is, what is real? What is not? And that's where you left us. It's, did they ever go on a cruise, or did these people like kidnap them before they could even go? So I find that part interesting and I love the questions. My favorite line is, and just because I loved your creativity here, and that you use two words that you're supposed to at once, but it kind of, it's a question that we all ask ourselves when we indulge too much or when we think we have. And mm-hmm. It's at first I thought I needed to consider getting a sponsor, but now I was beginning to think there was a little something extra in the brew. Like that kind of is like the broad brushstroke that is fine-tuned and sharpened with the next line of, I never had this out after one beer. So, but that line is just, you take that line and you can apply it to anything. I've probably said the exact same thing when I finish off an entire bag of shareable Skittles, okay? Share's a suggestion, not a requirement. But that's the point. It's like, you think, oh, I've gone too far. We always think that about ourselves. And then we go, no, it's like that line of, what am I responsible for versus I can't control what's happening to me at this point. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I like about these flash fictions, especially your writing style, is that there's sometimes a deeper thought than what's on the page. And that's one of those things that I think can transcend this mm-hmm. entire story. So yeah, I liked it. I love the questions.
One thing I wish I had done a little bit differently, and I'm not sure exactly how I would do this differently, mm-hmm. With a couple on a cruise, I wanted that to convey maybe it was a cruise ship or maybe they were driving around looking for somebody. And so I want that. I would want that to be a little bit more clear, yes. Because it kind of deepens the confusion at the end where the main character's like, did I actually
So you
go on a
took it-
cruise?
No, so this could be a case of me just because I took it as cruise, like a cruise ship,
Mm-hmm.
but you took it as like cruising for a bruising situation. Where I could say, so I usually don't like to use this word, but I think it could have been, but you could have done a couple just on a cruise or something. Like putting that just, I feel like helps it a little bit, even though I know we want to try to avoid those words like just and already and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then also it could be, you could change it up and say a couple cruising around, or for an evening cruise or something, especially if you want to keep the cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise you could change it up, or it could be kind of like where you were talking about how I should change up sponsor, where I mentioned kind of a simile, or not a simile, a synonym above it somewhere, and then I could throw in sponsor, and then it kind of ties together a little bit better. Here you could have used joyride somewhere, and then used cruise.
Or even if I said a couple on a cruise, or maybe on the hunt or the prowl or something like that, right after, to emphasize what
make
kind
it
of
seem
cruise.
more. Yeah, joyride sounds kind of carefree, but make it seem more pointed and there's a goal in mind.
Yeah.
Yes. Our powers combined.
But I think my favorite part where I put that she's driving, because I don't want it to seem like she was along for the ride.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I am all for it. I feel like there's just so many. I'm for the stories of where the woman is actually in charge and the guy is not the brains behind the operation. And I'm not sure if it's because, like, in society or media, women are usually Reese Witherspoon did a great speech about this, but she said there's always in a script, there's that one line, and a woman usually says it, where they turn to a man and go, "What are we going to do?" And I'm tired. I after watching the speech, I'm like, yeah, I'm sick of that shit. Like, I'm the one that makes all the plans. I got my spreadsheets, my to-do list, and I got the plans set out. I'm usually the one asked, like, hey, what are we gonna do? So, like, for in the movies that we always have that depiction, I am, maybe that's why I feel so happy, even though it's in a negative connotation, such as in Gone Girl, in this depiction here, where a woman is like a serial mastermind. I'm still here for it. They're smart. They're like, and actually, when you put a woman in one of those roles, they always seem way smarter than the man. The man seems like, when he's in a serial mastermind role of a movie, it mostly seems like he's just lucky sometimes. Whereas a woman seems very calculated and precise.
I think that's a good point, Cherry. It's the difference between going for a cruise versus going on a cruise.
Yeah.
I
like that you consciously made the woman drive, though. I will say that. There we go.
I wanted it to be very clear because from the main character's point of view, it's they seem a little more vulnerable, and I didn't want it just to be like another presumed. I didn't want it to be presumed that it's just another woman getting roofied. It's an individual who's been roofied, but the control of this situation isn't just that this is happening to a vulnerable person. It can also come from a person who people don't overlook because they assume that that person is vulnerable as well.
Yeah.
I like that prompt, though. I thought that was fun, and
I did like that.
I had no idea where that was going, so I did enjoy that.
All right, let me open up my beautiful Excel spreadsheet. I admit I'm a little biased on it. I only have like 9 writing challenges down But all right, chat, this is where you come into play. And you can, as many of you can throw in a number and a letter together, because that will create one cell in the spreadsheet. But if you call out number 1 through 50 with the letter A through R next to it, I'd appreciate it. I will think of one now just to. Huh? Oh, yeah, we only need 10 of them. We do need 10 of them. That's why with 4 people in the chat, which I might be one of them because I have it open, throw in as many as you wish on this. I'm thinking I'm going to go 27 O.
I'm making a list of BC dubs.
Sweet. Stole. STOLE.
37I.
37I. Oh. 37I is dinner.
O2.
O2 is, hey, we're doing allergy now. We took it out last week. Now we got it this week. We got 44R. So 44R is hush.
L5.
L5. Come on. L5 is graduate. $21Q. All right. There we go. 21Q. Soul. SOUL. One, two.
Did you get Q21, 21Q and 12B?
Nope. I'm getting 21Q right now, and then I'll get 12B. 21Q. 21Q is soul, and then 12B. Where's my 12? Gold. GOLD. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 3 more.
A19.
A19. Decline. $49 in, just because I'm gonna try to throw this on. Cross. CROSS. All right, last one, if I remember correctly on my numbers here, if I can count. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 50F. Sharp. SHARP. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now we need one more.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh. Okay, hold on. All right, allergy, graduate, gold, soul, stole, STOLE, dinner, hush, cross, sharp.
Decline.
Samsonite, I was way off. All right. Okay, I'm gonna have to find that one again. Oh, okay. I just didn't scroll my bar over. I was on like B only, starting at the B column. All right. Yep. Solid. All right. So the pre-made writing prompts. Chat, if you don't mind choosing a number between 1 and 71. And if it's one that we happen to do already, or if it's one that requires a follow-up, I'll jump to the one before it or one after. So just choose between the number 1 or 71. Between 1 and 71. Yeah, I can't speak.
8.
8?
Mm-hmm.
All right, 8 is
Oh, we got
leaving
67.
Earth. Okay. We got, so 8 is leaving Earth forever.
Mm-hmm.
67 is the last to know.
Ooh, I like 67.
So,
I like both of them, but
I know. Hold on. You got a pen, or not a pen, a coin near you?
Yep. Yes, I do.
All right. Heads is 8. Tails is 67.
Y'all trust
Flip
me?
it. Yes, we do.
Oh, it landed in the middle in my lap. Let's try that again.
All right.
Heads.
Heads, 8. So, leaving Earth forever. All right.
Okay.
You posting that in the chat?
Yep.
Cool. And then hopefully I can copy and paste because I got to get those words. There we go. Is there any way I can, hold on, maybe over here. All right, copying my words over to my Word document. Otherwise, this is not happening. Format painter. There we go. This will be interesting. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but I got to go somewhere.
I mean, same.
Oh, hey, writing challenge, since we normally have this.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here's a few ideas. And I'll let you choose, just because previously we've chose our writing challenges, and I think that's, we don't get to choose the prompt, but we can choose the challenge. All right, so previously we switched how outlining versus straight drafting. The other one is write all the characters as animals, write only dialogue, or write only narrative, depending on which one makes you more uncomfortable. I did that one before. That was fun. Write a story twice. No, okay, that's a redo, but it's write a story twice from 2 different perspectives.
Ooh,
but it's the same
like
story.
That one, but I feel like I need a
You
little
could
more
probably
time.
Well, unless this one takes you only 10 minutes to write, and then you just give up. Okay.
Let's go for that
we
one.
did
Let's go
the
with 2 POV.
2 POVs.
Mm-hmm. Right. The
Okay,
story.
and I think instead of, I'm gonna jump between them, whereas you might write a whole story in one POV and then follow it up from the other POV, and it tells a totally different, like, nuance, like vantage point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I will hold those other writing challenges, and if I ever think of adding more, I'm enjoying this spreadsheet. Like, I'm getting all giddy and everything. I'm just like coming up with new things. All right. So let me set up the timer. I honestly have no clue how I'm going to pursue this, but dual POV writing prompt. Let's go for it. Oh, wait. I was about to press play and I didn't even share the screen yet. Okay. Now we can go. This is from TikTok countdown timer, by the way. I'm here. I just realized I left out one of the words.
Oops. I that was a power sprint because I took the doggo out, and
yeah, I had a feeling since you turned off the your camera, I was like, she probably went out. I am going to send you, or I'm gonna try to send the one that I already sent. I just added something to the last line. So we can do this. Can I forward? I guess. I'm just doing the last line. Ugh. This is a lot harder. But I enjoyed that. And actually, the kind of eeriness of the music helped. Because it was kind of eerie, but yet calming. And I think it was kind of cool.
Yeah. I apparently am going dark today, so.
Well, I joined you. A little bit.
I can't even say how happy that makes me.
Yeah, it was funny because the changing the POVs, like, it was different for me. Because but it wasn't the same situation, but it was, well, it kind of was. You'll see. Kind of the same situation.
I'm so curious. So I did the 10 words in both stories just as a personal challenge, but I don't think it has to be.
No, for me, I didn't have enough time. Like, if I wanted to, I could see doing the challenge of doing it from a different POV. I could do it if I had like 30 minutes.
That's fair.
But I don't. But I was able to use all 10 words, and it did change POV in the middle. Well, not in the middle. It was like a quick beginning. And then
I have one that's a little bit longer than the other.
Yeah, that's the way mine is. My first part, but either way, I wish I was able to do 10 words, but it's for my maybe if I didn't do the outlining and stuff, but it really, the story comes together while I'm outlining. And then I'm like, oh, this, and I get these little clips.
I did write the second half first, and then I wrote the first part after, and then I went back through and revised a little bit.
Yeah, I did have a little bit of revision, which was good because there was spelling shindigs going on. All right, now I got to find another 10-minute timer. Where are you at? You know what? We're going to try this one. So that way we can sprint, but if it takes less than 10 minutes, cool. You want me to go in the chat again when I'm done, or because I didn't want to interrupt you? You looked like you were focused before.
Yeah, that was good. That works for me.
Okay.
And if I get done,
I will say you technically have 2 emails, but the last email is a forwarding of the first email, and the last line is the different. Last line replaces the last line of the big chunk.
Let me go look.
I just don't want you to like read the last line and it ruin for you. Probably should have sent the whole
I'm not
thing.
reading it. I'm just copying it over.
Okay.
Oops. Apparently I did not. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, and I still got to get yours. I didn't even pull it off my.
Okay. I hope I have that right because I didn't read it at all because I am a good noodle.
Bravo. All right. Oh, God. Come on. All right. There. I got 2 paragraphs from you. Okay. Ready to critique, read over the stories. I feel like you wrote less than me this time again. Man.
But it's all very condensed because there's no dialogue in mine.
Oh, yeah. There's dialogue in mine. I was trying to figure out without, but I was like, nope, just stop focusing on making it polished and stuff like that and just get the story down.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's go. We got this.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, we can mute him. I like the
Also,
music.
it's a little funny because I looked up, typed ready, looked at the screen, and I could see myself then completing the action that I had just completed. And I was like,
it's like an out of body experience.
It really is. I was like, oh.
All right. So, ma'am, I'm going first because, ma'am, hold on. I didn't realize I still had that message pinned. And then I got the leaving Earth forever. Okay, there we go. Back to this. Okay, definitely really like that. And the fact that you were able to use 10 words in both, holy hell, because it was so good. Like the you didn't use it in the same use both times and everything. Like you kind of did with one with decline, but we'll go into that. But I'll read it and I'll let the chat enjoy this as much as I have. So again, remember the challenge chat was to do 2 points of view, kind of the same story. And Chandra and I did it similarly, where we took this person got the front end, and then this person got where this point kind of leaves off a little bit. So there was kind of an overlap, but also kind of not. So that's kind of interesting. All right. This story, I love it. All right. When she saw him, her first thought was of leaving Earth forever. He seemed so out of this world. She stole glances at him, peeking over her shoulder to see if he was still there. This wasn't the graduate life she imagined, all work, no play. She'd never thought life would be an ongoing dinner party, meeting a man with a heart of gold and just dancing off into the night. Her allergy had been so bad, she carried her EpiPen. Just to be careful, she told him where she put it in her bag. Thank goodness for that. But how embarrassing to have to ask him to stab her with it. The words came out in a hush, but the sharp intake of breath that followed didn't come from her lips. Had the decline been so sudden? She could feel her soul cross the threshold. She could feel panic as she looked into his eyes. POV 2, in case my voice doesn't change enough. I heard her as she was leaving Earth forever, her dark curls caressing my cheek, smelling of fresh lavender. I wanted it to be special. Watching her soul graduate had been one of the keenest pleasures of my life. The sharp gradient between living and dying, a fleeting breath to cross the face in one fateful moment. She stole my heart, and I'd been the one to take her breath away. I've always known about her allergy. That's why I'd chosen this spot for dinner. a carefully packed picnic well out of the way. I wanted to hear the hush of breathing as I watched the gradual decline. It was worth every penny. The moment was pure gold. Holy hell. I got so many questions because, like, for me, reading this, I was like, holy shit, he planned to kill her. And then at the beginning, I'm like, was it an assisted suicide? Did she want to die? Because she talks about, like, I hate this monotonous dinner parties and stuff like that. This is all work, no play. And then she meets him and he brings her joy and pleasure, I'm assuming. But then it's like, it's a lot of questions because I'm like, did she know? But the only thing that makes me think that she didn't know that it was on purpose is because she could feel the panic as she looked into his eyes. Like maybe it dawned on her at that moment. And that's what I love about this. We go back to why we love Flash Fiction. It's the questions, the I need more and everything. It's like a short video short and stuff. It's so good. And then the fact that you were able to use the words in both sections. Like, yes, you talk about decline of her body in decline. That's what we use to refer to death, especially when you can see it happening. So I totally understand that. I don't expect you to change that up. But she talks about him having a heart of gold, and then his enjoyment of her death was pure gold. Like, you kept the same word, and like for her, it meant he was good. For him, he was like, this is sweet. There's no other high like it. And then what was it? Watching her soul graduate, and then for her, graduate was this graduate life. I'll work no play. Like that, you were creative with the words, and that is just, I'm not worthy. Like, holy hell, dude! Like it, the whole time I'm like, oh, and then when I went back and reread it, that's when I was like, wait a second, like, who, like, was she in it on, or was she not? Like, that's what gave me pause. So I just, it was good. Like, it was so good. It's like we take an episode of you and everything. Like, that's what it kind of made me think of. But yeah,
I kind of thought that when I was writing it. I was like, I hope this isn't too you, but
no, because he also wanted it and everything. Like whereas like Joe and you, he talks about he doesn't want to kill people. He feels his hands forced to kill them and stuff. Whereas this guy was like, nah, this was sweet. Like, it's like he planned it. Joe doesn't plan it unless the person like forces his hand, pretty much.
Yeah. I think that was my favorite part, was that for her, it seems accidental potentially.
Yeah.
Or like she has such a different perspective. I thought if it would be kind of fun to bring my two different MOs together, which is writing something that's like fun mystery, and then all the murder.
This is you and I meshed together.
I was kind of thinking that. I was like, how can I make this seem fun and happy?
Well, but then here's the thing: it's like it still took a turn because she had panic, and but here's where I have my disconnect a little bit, where I got tripped up. Was she talks about how he was so out of this world, she thought about leaving this earth, which kind of gave me a Romeo and Juliet vibe and everything. But that I could see that attraction and everything. Still glances of him, peeking over his shoulder, see if he was still there, see if he's still looking. Yeah, I bet he is. And then it just, like, she's like, it seems this hunger, this crave. And then this wasn't the graduate life she imagined. I'm like, wait a second, this guy sounds great. What do you mean not that she imagined? So that jump was like, maybe if we moved this is not the graduate life she imagined, then ooh, who is this moment? I think that would make more sense.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that's really my only critique, and I just came up with that just now because I couldn't find anything. So that was it. Like, I got a few things. Yeah. I got a few things underlined. But when we talk about favorite line, I can't pick one. Like I named a few. I think my favorite lines are in lines that are in both because you used the same word that we're supposed to include, but you use it in two different ways. And I thought that was beautifully done. And if I remember correctly, hold on. 277 words, and mine was more than that. Oh, no, not that much more. Oh, 284. Okay. I'm at least staying under 300. No, my last one was 316. You're staying under 300 today.
Which never happens.
I know. What was that one time where we're both like 470 something? We're like, shit.
We're like, let's just write 1,000 words.
Let's go for it. Why not? Or anything. I just thought of a new challenge we could do.
Oh, do tell.
Where you and I, where we do two dual POV, but we switch, like you write one and I write one. So we have these stories and then we just switch our stories. So kind of like what we do already, but
yes.
So we're going to take 30 minutes to write it, but then we're going to take another, I would say 20, probably wouldn't need a 30. And we like piggyback off the other person's story, either a continuation or another, but it has to be another point of view. So it could be another continuation point of view, or it could be a simultaneous in the same POV.
I like this. I feel like it's when people draw together and switch drawings every 10 minutes.
Yes.
I think that'd be super fun. I think we should do it.
Oh my God.
We got to do that next time.
Okay. All right. That'll be like next week, which means it'll take a little longer. Oh, if we can do next week, we got to still work out the schedule on that.
Yeah.
Don't worry. If you follow us on Instagram, you'll find out when things will happen.
Okay. I'm a fan. All right. So are we ready for yours?
Yeah, sure. So I will say the one line that stood out to me, just because it finally solidified, because I was still having this question of, is the guy wanting this death or not? But when he said it was worth every penny, the moment was pure gold, like finding pleasure out of it, that's when I was like, oh, this fucker. Not to cuss, sorry, I usually don't. But I didn't like this guy. Did not like him. Apologize for my cussing.
I maybe enjoyed writing him a little too much.
It's funny how we write the wrong, like the dark stuff and or the bad person, and we're like, I hate this person as I'm writing it.
I wrote him first, and that way I think it was a little easier to write her POV after I knew where he was.
Which now explains why you put him like, oh, he's so great at the beginning, because you were trying to get in that mindset from her POV. So that makes sense. Okay, I'm ready for you.
Okay, here we go. I got plenty of time. This road is never busy, and I'm only going 5 over the speed limit. No cars at the intersection like I knew it would be. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. The gold cross my grandmother gave me as a graduation present is in my fingers before I come to a complete stop at the red light. I'll be at the going away dinner and off to college tomorrow. The light turns green. Both my hands return to the wheel, and I let my foot off the brake. Rachel is in the back seat of Carrie's car. God, Carrie, ever think about cleaning out your car? She says as she picks up a few papers. Oh, come on, you even stole my hoodie? Carrie smiles and steals a glance through the rear view. She reaches over and grabs a tissue from the glove box to blow her nose. Ugh, I hate you allergies. They hate you too, it seems, Rachel replied. Carrie's phone vibrated and she tossed it onto the floor. Oh, sorry, phone. Even though you don't have a soul, I'm still sorry, Carrie said without taking her eyes off the road. I'm sure your phone will understand. I appreciate you not using it while I'm in the car, Rachel mocked Carrie. As they approached the green light, Carrie started to brake. Being on a decline, it wasn't enough to stop, but they were turning right anyway. The light turned yellow. Carrie braked harder. The light turned red. Carrie turned her head to the left and committed to the sharp right turn. Rachel locked eyes with the other driver, who mirrored reaching for their grandmother's gold cross around their neck as their soul left Earth forever. So, I highlighted all over this because I had so many thoughts, and there's so much layered in here.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to start off with my one thing that I was like, what? And that was the last line. Because I was confused, because how does it seems like that's Carrie's POV, but also how does Carrie know what's happening to Rachel? I was a little confused about the POV there. So it is Rachel. How does she know it's the other person's gold cross, or is it that she's already dead, so they are both ghosties now? And I was really confused about that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it wasn't mentioned that Rachel had a gold cross, so I'm like, why does she have a gold cross now? So that part was confusing, but I liked the intent there. I still got what you were going for, and I liked it. I was just confused.
I just need to clean that up and to convey it a little bit more.
Yeah, but I'm like, I'm with you on the.
I just want to hear the rest of it before I chime in and explain it, so we can plan to how this is going to be better.
I'm digging it. Now, my favorite line, the gold cross my grandmother gave me as a graduation present is in my fingers before I come to a complete stop at the red light. I felt like that was an unconscious kiss of death for the character, which I very much liked. It's very foreboding, foreshadowing. It's all the things, and I really liked that. Something else that I really liked was all the times you make note of, this is a dangerous action, and here's the remediation. Here are, like, this is all the red herrings of, like, all the things that could go wrong, and then follows up with how each of them are being really safe in a lot of ways. Like, in that fateful moment, they've all put down all of their distractions, and there's, like, you know, there's the going 5 over the speed limit that's not safe, but then she puts her hands on the wheel and she comes to a complete stop. We have the other car. Dobby, could you quit it? We have the other car where she's reaching into the back seat. She's got this conversation going on that's distracting. She is looking into the rearview mirror. She's got her allergies, so she's grabbing stuff and she's trying to blow her nose. The phone's going off. There again, the conversation is happening. She's just like, you get the impression she is busy, and each one, it's like, boom, this unsafe thing happens, she does this to counter it. This unsafe thing happens, she does this to counter it. So there's like so much safety and like so many like it's like, oh, I love that. But perhaps my favorite part is how you see the traffic light green, yellow, red. And it's like a countdown.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I really like that part.
What's gonna happen?
Yeah. And then the committing to I just like so much about the story. Committing to that sharp turn, and the light turns red, and like it's all happening, but we don't have the description of the chaos because it's hard to capture that. But you can have all the boom, boom, boom that leads up to it, and then the aftermath. But I also feel that you could write more into the aftermath, a little bit more. I don't think you want to go too much in depth there, because I think less is more in this context, but I think just a little bit more would be warranted.
So you ready for the explanation?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the first POV, the I, that's Rachel. right before she dies, and then she dies, but then lands in Carrie's car in the back seat. And if you notice, Carrie never interacts with Rachel. Rachel is only talking to Carrie. I was trying to stay conscious with that.
Oh. What?
And then, yeah. now the story got a little cooler.
Yes, it did.
But I feel like I should have. Oh, well, hold on.
What did that do? Oh, bless you.
So my husband took the kids so I could live stream, and then they brought me flowers.
Oh, that's so nice. I also realized that I was
Smell
talking
good.
to my dog and I was not on mute.
Oh, please, that's fine. Anything. I'm gonna set these here. All right. So, but I think to convey the final line to me is what should have conveyed that Rachel was the driver of the other vehicle that hit Carrie, even though Carrie ran the red light, as well as that Rachel was also in the back seat, because that's when I was trying to think, how is this going to overlap, and I was thinking Rachel right before she died, and it was the gold cross, but I didn't want to say that Rachel had it when she was in Carrie's car too early, because I was afraid that was going to be a giveaway. So
that is a tricky scenario to like play out without giving away too much too soon. And so I thought I knew where you were going with that. Turns out I did not, but I like.
But you kind of knew where I was headed, but the timeline, it was one of those, like, I did a totally M. Night situation where Rachel was dead actually all along.
Yeah, I did. I also liked I'll be going away. I'll be at the going away dinner. And it also, the way that was, it's like, especially knowing she's already dead, like she's going to go anyway. I don't get the impression that Rachel is aware that she's dead. So, yeah. No, I still like it. I have questions, but
questions are good.
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Cherry made me feel good because they said, "Oh my goodness."
Yeah, I didn't get that, but I had questions. I was asking the right questions about the gold cross. Maybe.
I wonder if there's something. I feel like what I need to do is add a little bit more to the first person section, and then do something in the second person, like because I think another way that Carrie could have been singing along and glanced in the rearview mirror, and it just happened to be at the same time that Rachel said something.
What about Rachel locked eyes with the other driver at the beginning? Rachel
at the end of the first person.
Or knows.
Right.
Either. Well, yeah, it could be there.
Yeah, I could. At the end of the first person, Rachel, or I locked eyes with the back seat the passenger. I'll just say the passenger, because if I call out back seat, I feel like it gives it away for the next one.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the third person section is Rachel locks eyes with the other driver. So it's because Carrie's supposed to be driving.
Mm-hmm. So, well, maybe if you end Rachel's POV with Rachel locked eyes with the other driver, and then you end Carrie's POV with Carrie locked eyes with the other driver. Well, so it's circular.
Well, I was hoping I could do that, but I was hoping for, like, Rachel sees herself because she ends up in the back seat. Because she drives, dies, and then ends up in the backseat of a friend's car who is the person she actually hit.
Mm-hmm.
one of those like time weird things.
Yeah.
Where you get to see it from another perspective. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's one of those things where
you have to play with it.
Yeah, I'll play with it, but it's also one of those things you don't want to be like have this idea in your head of where the story will go and then get married to that and then be completely against it changing, because it changing might be for the better.
I think you're on the right track though, because you don't want to hit people over the head with the idea of it. I think the idea needs to be kind of slow and creeping.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the idea, and I think that it's just a matter of playing with it till you get it where it's clear and how you want it to be.
Yeah. What I find it funny though is that so you did dual POV, like from a guy and a girl, two separate places, whereas I kind of did two different POVs, but it was first person, third person. Come on, we were following Rachel all along, really, technically.
We just didn't know that.
Yeah, but that's where I like books over shows and movies, because in a movie it would be a close-up of the gun or the hand or something like that you would have to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Jerry, of like it's really hard of like showing enough, like giving enough puzzle pieces so you can see at least doing the edge of the puzzle without giving all the middle pieces.
Yeah, I'm with Cherry on this one. I'm like, I understand exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, it's just hard.
I'm like,
feel free if anybody watches this and you're hearing the struggle we're having, and unless I post something about it, feel free to go, I got it, and just Instagram me, direct message, be like, this is how you do it. I fully accept it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, because how?
Yeah, it would be difficult. I know it can be done. I think it's going to be one of those stories that it takes some finagling. What's funny is that it's such a complex idea, and it's done in a flash fiction, so that makes it even more difficult.
But
and though I mean, it's only 284 words, so we have the word space, but at the same time, the importance of a flash fiction is that every sentence holds weight and is important. That's the kind of the way I see flash fiction should be, which is why it's really difficult when a flash fiction is good to find any sentence that's bad.
True. True. I mean, like I said at the beginning, I don't even have any objection to the last line. I was just confused by it. And it's not that there's anything wrong with it. It's about, does it convey the intention that you have?
Yeah. I think I need to add more to the first person section. And then, and at least I know there's some areas to keep in the third person section, such as green light, yellow, red.
Yeah.
And then, but I think it's going to take finagling that final sentence, add more to the first person, and maybe, I got an idea a little bit, is let's say this extra thing in first person is Rachel in first person calls Carrie. Carrie doesn't answer. And so when Rachel's in the back seat, she's like, are you upset because do you think I'm upset with you because you didn't answer my call? When she's in the back seat. And then and that's why Carrie's ignoring her. And so it's actually brought up. It seems like Carrie's ignoring her.
Something where, I like that idea. I was also thinking something that might clarify timeline a little bit is if Rachel is sitting at a red light waiting for it to turn green. When she moves over to the other car, there should be a little stutter step in time where she's seeing the light go backwards. Like from her perspective, it's red light, green light. But from Carrie's perspective, it's green, yellow, red.
And
so between that and the conversation being one-sided,
I could see that because I like that. I'm gonna there's some play with here. I definitely like it. Man, I might be writing some more after this.
The idea for this story though is so good. So good. But I mean, also, isn't this what flash fiction is about? To take an idea and hone it and perfect it, because when you're writing larger works, that's what you're doing, just on a larger scale. So if you can do it in this bite-sized piece, you can practice ideas, you can fiddle with them until you get it just how you want it. Hey, Eva. We are fighting
Eva,
with
with
this story idea.
The whole idea of
fighting with us. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's fighting with us. So it makes me think of the phrase of writer's block is when your characters refuse to speak to you. Right now, they're refusing to speak to us because we can't figure out how to fix this. Honing the craft. Yeah, we've said this before. Like, that's why we do these writing challenges, because during a flash fiction is the time to try something new and something different. See if you like it or not before you commit to a novel. So, yep, word choice. Everything's so impactful. So, okay. I think, you know what, the one of the writing challenges is to reattack a story. I think somewhere in there. I think what we could do is I think one time we could, after we got a few of these lives under our belt, we could have an entire episode that is reattacking ones that we did previously.
Ooh, I like that idea. I also think it would be fun to do one where we rewrite each other's story.
Yes. And where we rewrite like the same premise, but we write our own way, or we edit, or like as if we wrote it ourselves and editing the whole thing.
I think we should do both, like at different times. But I mean, because we can just keep adding challenges.
Is put it to a vote on IG, because I think one of my stories that would need to be rewritten would be a different one than for you. So I don't think it should be the same prompt.
Yeah,
but I could definitely see, especially now that I got all of them saved, I could see going back and getting like votes on IG of like which one should we reattack, anything, because technically we have 6 each now, since we do 2 prompts each week.
Yeah.
So we got 6 already.
Cherry sent me this one.
Ooh, yes. Let's hear
it. And also Eva said same story and premise, new word to add. I like that one too. Let me go look for Cherry's story.
Oh yeah, maybe get a whole new 10 words that we have to include using the same premise, timeline, structure, whatever of the current. I like that. Now, but that does mean we can delete the previous 10 words if it works, like as long as we have the same flow. So if I use this current story and got new 10 words, I would still have to have the premise of character driving, just about, they die, but they don't know they died. They appear in the other car in the back seat of their friend, and then see their death and realize. But it would be a whole new 10 words. I probably still have to keep
I have another idea. This would change the story significantly, but when Carrie looks into the rearview mirror, she sees a cup or a phone floating in the air. Like there's a ghost holding it, but she doesn't see the ghost, and it contributes to her. Like,
that would be cool. All right.
So in that, it would be really weird, because it would be like A Wrinkle in Time or whatever, where not only did Rachel already get hit, but the reason that she got hit is because her ghost was in the other car.
I love that. God, talk about self-fulfilling prophecy. That's like really like, whew. Okay, so I'm writing the writing challenge as a reattack with 10 new words. New words of old prompt and premise. And previously written premise, so that you still have to follow the same storyline. So your story's written technically, like you know what's going to happen. You just
All right, I've got
okay.
Cherry's
I got that
story
saved.
here. He stared at the cross above the head of the dinner table. He wouldn't be able to see it again for a long time, maybe even forever. He was actually starting to get a bit sentimental. The cross glitched for a moment, righting itself once he had wiped the mist from his eyes. He had managed to finally graduate space school, as it was dubbed, and this evening was all about him and his accomplishments. Finally, all his siblings would have to sit and hear their parents gush about him. As the middle of 6 children, that was a rarity, and he relished every moment. The youngest was clearly salty about it, despite knowing about his allergies to fur. She had still worn the stole that made his nose itchy, showing off the only accomplishment she had ever had, marrying a rich man and having his kids. Really, in this age of decline, who wore animal anything anymore? He was still basking in all the praise when that same sister burst his bubble with those gaudy, sharp nails of hers. With a smirk on her, she announced that she was with child again. And just like that, all the attention shifted right to her. Not really that surprising, I remarked snidely. I was hushed with a stern look by my mother. Should have known. No matter what he did, it would always end like this. Even when he was leaving the planet, he had passed a university where the motto was soul of gold, heart of steel, but brain sharper than any other. And still he felt like nothing but a loser whenever he was around his family. Ooh. Oh, the word face was missing. Gotcha. I really like it. With a smirk on her face, gotcha. She announced that she was with child again. Yeah. That was good.
I loved it. I just like it. I like. I think I've said this before. When it evokes emotion and such, like it's.
I can just feel all the pettiness around the table, and
we're bringing back the shade.
Yeah, and the mom being like shut it.
Yes.
And he's like, dude, I'm leaving the planet. Does anybody
we're
care?
missing the second POV.
Oh, it is? Wait.
It starts at subject.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I thought it was Instagram messing with you. Okay. This totally makes more sense. Subject is sentimental. Increase praise by 46%. Error. Refresh image. Error. Restart reality. Error. Restart system. Reality is stabilized. Subject is confident. Increase conflict by 23%. Subject is distressed. Decrease compassion by 19%. Subject is sad. Initiate chapter, leaving Earth forever. Holy shitballs.
It makes me think of Vanilla Sky and everything. But okay, I got to cut this stream short, or not short. I mean, we're over 3 hours, but we at least got our 2 writing prompts in. We got plans for the future, and I'm excited.
Cherry, I'm going to send you just some thoughts, which is probably just going to be a stream of consciousness, me ranting praise at you. So
just accept the praise.
No, it's not weird. It's brilliant. And
it's not weird at all. And plus, okay, if it's weird, then we're all weird here. Okay, like we've got some dark, twisted stuff that we've written about.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
All right.
And then we got to wrap up. Let me just do like a little quick plug. I'm going to be doing a live stream tomorrow. I'm actually starting a series, which is based off of my video that came out late last night, early this morning, because I'm behind on Nano and yada, yada, yada. Go watch the video, then look for all the live streams because this is how I'm going to fix it. Oh, my name is Chandra also. That's how you can find me. Here.
Links are below because I was able to add the links in. And definitely I'm excited for that because I watched your video on like behind Nano and like all about how you change your perspective. Like it's kind of like change your idea of how you view success. So I definitely watch it if you haven't seen it yet. Totally worth it. And thanks for joining us. We will let y'all know on Instagram when the next one is. We haven't quite planned it. There's the holidays coming up. It gets crazy. So, all right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.